Hey, you regressed. That's right. Can't get it right first time, do it again. Welcome to the porch. Pull up a chair, sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Now here's your host, Michelle Barras and Brian Swanson. That was amazing.
That wasn't you. Welcome to Denim and Pearls. My name is Michelle Barras, and this is... Who are you? Are you frozen? Am I all by myself on Denim and Pearls? What happened?
I don't know. Things are being really weird.
I'm feeling great pressure on this end to be all by myself if you're going to be splattering it in and out with your internet. Well, I'm Michelle Barras, and this is Brian Swanson, just in case he freezes again like he just did. And we are business casual with pearls of wisdom from the proverbial porch. Now, we have tested this entire thing, and it was working just fine until we went live, and then it decided not to work. So today's topic is under pressure. And
am I there?
You are here right now, but I'm not quite trusting that. So stop and stop moving and start talking, man. So under pressure is our topic, right?
Yes, under pressure is our topic. And this is what's really funny, because if this was like one of those things on stage where like the entire sound system goes bad, or the video goes bad, or the curtain falls on stage, and there's always going to be somebody under pressure to fix it.
But did you notice that I didn't react to it? It was, oh, well, just narrating what's happening. Now, pressure. The definition of pressure, there's two different types. There's one where there's an actual continuous physical force exerting against someone or something or an object, whatever. But then there's the other one, which is the use of persuasion, influence, or intimidation to make someone do something. Now, we just experienced the external force. And I have the pressure of Brian saying, get online, my internet's unstable, we're running it off of your line. That's the other kind of pressure. So we just experienced it both in the first 3 minutes of Denim and Pearls.
But we'll be fine.
Oh, we're peachy fine. So if you're out there watching us and you're listening, please share this live stream. It should be interesting. I'm on heavy medication because I'm sick as a dog, and Brian's internet's not working. So this should be a test in under pressure and how to handle it. So let us know where you are. Say hi and share, like.
Hi. Oh, there are comments, and they're all probably telling us we're screwed up.
It's Nicholas saying, are you under pressure? I heard that. But anyways, elephant in the room. I have a sinus infection, so I am not my chipper self, but I am kind of chipper.
If you wouldn't have told anybody that.
You think no one would have noticed?
Nobody would have ever noticed.
Oh, well, there's only 3 people watching at the moment, so I won't say it again. Shh.
What about the other 3,000, though?
They'll find out.
They're going to watch it afterwards.
Please disregard the remark that I made about my health today. Okay. We'd like to say thank you to our sponsors who have jumped aboard. The ASquared Promotions, Inc. 182, and Harmonized Brain Centers. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But thank you so much for being our sponsors. And, of course, to John Mortensen for making our cool, handy-dandy logo up there in the corner. And, of course, to Nicholas Dowd, who likes to help us on the backside. And he posted our YouTube link in there already. So, Brian, under pressure. And all I hear is Brian Frozen and Vanilla Ice He froze on me again. I'm all by myself. So again, I'm under pressure because my co-host is not with me again.
I'm back, I think.
You are back. So quick, get in a
These
couple
for
of words.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Well, I think I'm using the internet office.
Okay, so here's the funny thing. Today's topic is under pressure. Now, when you are a team, a duo, when you're expecting the other person to be there with you to banter and their internet keeps freezing, you're under pressure to keep yourself up and running and knowing what you're going to talk about. And this is hilarious because it's the perfect example of he's back.
The perfect part of this is, I think, now somebody's phone's ringing.
Oh, the phone's ringing. It's
This
mine.
is the pressure to actually put on a good show. I don't think it's working today.
What
This
is
funny.
going on? There's so much pressure. Now,
Well, here I think this is a perfect instance. We know there's a lot of pressure going on. We know there's a lot of different things going on, but we keep moving forward.
it's
And that's the question, really and truly. How do you keep moving forward? And you notice me, I just laugh about it. There's nothing else. I mean, I could sit here and
laughing at
cry.
it. I'm laughing at I'm crying. Okay, so Nicholas says hi, and he said that it's funny that Ice Ice Baby uses the under pressure start, because that's really what I heard. And then Mike Masso says hello too. So here's Nicholas's one of his comments.
We shouldn't talk about those things. Those are things of the past.
And then Mike says, howdy.
And there's
howdy.
Mike. Mike's probably wondering what in the hell is Brian again.
Well, and then we've got other people on my personal page that are saying hi and stuff, but they're not showing up on our main screen.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah, so Gina, hi, and then Heather, hi. And so I'm watching multiple screens, and my business partner dude keeps freezing on me. So under pressure.
Let's get to it.
Yeah, you
Let's hope
start
it stays.
first, Mr. Man.
Oh, under pressure. Okay, I think of it when I think of under pressure. I think of a whole lot of things. First of all, yeah, I'm like there with Nicholas when I hear my music in my head. The music in my head always goes to one of those two songs, but they seem to be the same. But hey,
Aww.
Oh, ouch!
Ow!
Now there's pressure.
That's pressure. Pressure
That's
not
pressure.
to move around. Yeah. Or are they making you move around, Mike? They're probably making you move, aren't they?
So I when I hear that term under pressure, I think that's exactly what I think about. I think of those two songs, whether they're one song or two songs, it doesn't matter. And then I think back to the history and I think about the heck with that. But what we're talking about here today is how do you handle that pressure? Are you put under pressure? And sometimes we put that pressure on ourselves in order to do something. Is anybody out there a procrastinator? Yeah, we always put ourselves under that pressure to get things done in a, let's call it a timely manner, or no, before it's time. It's done before it's time. So procrastinators have a tendency to really put it in there. Other people just like to work under stress. They like to work under pressure. They can't get anything done unless it's that way. So yes, is there good pressure? And yes, there's bad pressure. Okay. So bad pressure sometimes is like what we just dealt with the last few minutes ago. That didn't make sense. Over the last few minutes, that's not always good pressure. But on the other hand, what are you going to do about it? You're just going to have to laugh and move on and get over it and hope that the internet comes back. And here we are.
Well, and like I always say, I like to quote Byron Katie. There's three types of business in this world. There's my business, what I can control, the other person's business, what they can control, and God and the universe's control. So everything about pressure is happening today because when he disappeared, what could I have done? I could have freaked out and went, we need to pause this and we'll come back in 30 minutes when my partner can get back on. No, I just kept talking until he came back on. So it was under my control to keep going or stop it all. It was under his control to say, okay, I'm going to sign out and sign back on, or let's forget it. Let's not do this anymore. Or we just realized that the internet gods are not working so well with us today and that we just keep doing what we do. And yeah, Gina just wrote, oh, Vanilla Ice did a rendition of that. Yes, Vanilla. That's the song I was singing.
Are we going to talk about the music all day long?
I know. I'm sorry. I'm distracted.
Okay.
But
I look at it from also.
I am not a procrastinator until it comes to my taxes.
Well, yeah, because they're due what, tomorrow?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, but you're one that can get them done in like 10 minutes. So
yes, I am. But
that's what makes it hard to do.
That's still procrastinating.
Right. So what about our businesses? There's sometimes some of those pressures that we just can't control. I mean, what if you've got a retail store and the next thing you know, you got this thing that says COVID.
Yeah.
You must put mask on. You're supposed to close down. That's pressure. That is pressure on your business that sometimes we can't control it. All we can do is get mad. And sometimes some people are retaliating when it comes to that.
Well, it's not just pressure on your business, pressure on every employee that has to enforce the mask rule.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, just on a personal basis, I mean, there's people out there that's, the manager, they take care of, the bad things, the ones that really escalate to them. I want to see your manager. Okay. So their pressure is a little bit different, but that person that's the employee is going, sir, ma'am, can you put your mask on? And if they don't, then what do you do? But to ask that question, because you don't know what people's response these days are going to be.
Yeah.
They could go ballistic and just talk really bad things. And then finally, after 10 minutes of griping, turn around and ask for the manager. Now it becomes the manager's pressure. But that first initial instinct as a employee to go, sir, ma'am, can you put your mask on, is hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hard thing to do. And I can cover some of that too with what I've been experiencing around here the last few days. But when it comes to your business, there's always something that can put you under pressure. And it's a question mark of, can you move on from it? Do you laugh it off? Do you accomplish the situation and get it over? Because sometimes it's nothing but, you get a piece of paperwork that makes you read through it and your heart's pounding and you're going, oh, all I got to do is send in a copy of my check, sign off on it. Pressure goes away pretty quickly.
Well, and pressure comes in all shapes and forms. And it's really, it depends on you and whether you want to let it be a pressure. So like, let's say
another song.
Yeah.
Let it be, let it be.
Let it be. And so really it's what are you allowing to put force on you or put pressure on you? There are things like when we're talking about procrastination that you cause pressure because of the procrastination. There's other things where you misread something or you misinterpret a letter or an email or a text and lose yourself because I got to put some of my psychology in here. We interpret from whatever emotional state we're in. So if we're in a happy, happy joy mood, I can read an email that says, you jerk, you have the worst service ever. And I can read it because I'm in a good mood. You jerk, you gave me the worst service ever. Make it better. And I can interpret it that way. But if I'm already in a bad mood, I'll hear, you jerk. That is the worst.
Now you need a new phone.
I will never come back. So that kind of thing. So think about when you let things rub you wrong, make sure your mental state is more even keeled before you read it and respond. And I say that because back in the old days when I used to be in corporate America, basically, I would want to respond to an email that I read wrong. And I'd want to retaliate. You've got your nerve to blah, blah, blah. And then you wait a couple of hours and you come back and you read it again and oh, that's not what they meant at all. Thank goodness I didn't send that email. So keep that in mind when pressure is hitting on you. Where are you before you answer?
I'm just thinking you're one of those lucky ones that hit reply all instead of just reply.
Back in the old days, I would have been too.
So yeah, it's crazy. Every day we deal with pressure, even if it's small stuff. I mean, my daughter just got on an airplane today. She sat on the tarmac for 2 hours. She could either freak out or she could go, maybe I'll get a free plane flight out of this, for some other time. Well, she didn't. She ended up actually getting bumped up to business class. I mean, hey, wasn't first class, but she got bumped up to business class and she's made her trip. And I expect to hear from her shortly that she's in Denver,
So your phone's going to be ringing soon?
No, mine's on vibrate. I usually turn mine on vibrate. And it's not sitting on the same table as my computer. So
mine was leaning against the computer, which is what the problem was.
What
was I about to say?
I don't know, but we're right at commercial time. So why don't you do that? And hopefully when we come back, everything will be like brand spanking new.
Okay, let's work on that. One moment, please. Thank you for holding on Denim and Pearls. Thank you for joining us on the porch. We share the nuances and lessons we've garnered from throughout our combined 40 years of life experiences. Talk from the porch is always serious, but full of laughter, and we're glad you're here with us. Like, share with a friend, and please subscribe to our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. And remember, join the conversation every Friday at noon Mountain Time. We'll see you on the porch.
See you on the porch. You know why? Because we love you. I couldn't think of anything else to say, but hey.
I was like, huh? What happened? Did I miss something?
So are you going to do this or am I?
Go ahead, because I'm apparently not all there.
Okay, so that was our commercial. You can also take a look at our sponsors. So you've got ASquared Promotions, and you've got Inc. 182, and you got Harmonized Brain Centers.
What do they do?
Well, ASquared Promotion does all of your needs for any of your swag and those things that you put your logo on. She can do like massive amounts and numbers and things like that. She's totally awesome. Inc. 182, another awesome character in this whole bunch. And she does embroideries and t-shirts and all kinds of things like that. And in Harmonized Brain Centers, they just like to get your brain back in order. I don't know what they do, but they do. They put your brain back in order. And I know they helped you out a lot. And it's a good thing. So I know they do good things because you're here. So I'm terrible at that. I'm glad I don't have anything to read because I'd really be fired right now. So if you want to be a sponsor and let me talk about you like this, go ahead, send Denim and Pearls right there across the bottom, Denim and Pearls podcast at Gmail. Send us a request to be a sponsor, and you can help us out and you can help us grow, and you can go right along with us, and your name can be right along there. How's that?
Now I know why I do the commercials.
Hey.
Thank you so much for joining us on the porch. My name is Michelle Moras, and this is Brian Swanson. If you
okay, now you sound like my wife who said you didn't do that right. Now I got to clean it all back up.
No, you haven't said the rest of it.
Oh, okay.
Please like and share the Facebook page and subscribe and put the little bell on the YouTube page so you can find out when we are live the next time, which will, of course, be Friday at noon Mountain Standard Time.
Yeah, and don't forget to check out the actual podcast. Because once we do all of this, I edit everything and we put it on podcast so you can find it on Apple and Spotify and Google and all kinds of other things.
Oh, yeah.
So
I forgot that's not down on the bottom anymore.
It is not, but that's okay. It's all in there. It was in the commercial and everything else. So Under Pressure, now that we've got a full connection.
Yes. So Under Pressure, what kind of pressures are you under? When you, whatever job, or if you're at home, there's pressures coming from everywhere. And I was just on a summit, a 3-day conference, virtual conference about crisis management around pressure, about things that are happening around in our world. And we went from personal crisis all the way up to a global pandemic crisis and how to handle it in every stage. And what we realized in the whole conference was how you handle pressure or crisis on a small scale, on a personal level, affects how you respond to it on a global level. Pretty cool, huh?
That's pretty cool. But I wonder, one of those things, what did you learn from there that I know you know everything, so you didn't learn anything, Dr. Moras. So anyhow, what did you get from that conference that really could help the individuals that are listening to this podcast, that could help them, just that one little piece of information that would just turn their whole life upside down today because their kids are yelling at them and they're so much under pressure?
It always comes down to the quote I always give. There's 3 types of control in this world. There's my control, what I can control, what the other person controls, and what God and the universe can control. We talked about the oil spills, and we talked about COVID hitting. We talked about shooters that go off and start shooting up buildings. And it all comes back down to the individuals in that scenario, the ones who panicked or the ones who followed protocol. And so really what came down, the biggest lesson is, no matter where you are in your stage, from avoiding personal crisis, all the way to global, You're going to love this, Brian. You must have a SWOT. You must have a list of your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities and threats. Understand when a threat is going to happen, what are we going to do? Just like in your home, you should have a fire plan. If the fire alarm goes off, the kids don't go running out, check to make sure the door isn't, hot, make sure there's no flames. There's a protocol you're supposed to be doing, especially what?
I'm thinking when you're talking about the fire escape stuff, I'm thinking back to my military days, practice like it's real.
Yeah.
And here's a fire in the hallway. Go, go, go.
But that's exactly what we talked about, was that if we practice worst case scenarios for different things, when it happened, we'd be at least pseudo ready for something. So like I grew up in my senior year in Nebraska, junior and senior year of high school, we practiced tornado drills and we used to laugh about them. Yeah, right. Tornado. Yeah, right. Our senior year, the band was loading up onto the bus and a tornado came right over the top of, there was no warning. It formed and dropped right over us. And because we knew what to do, we all ran and knew exactly what to do. It was already ingrained in us. So it's kind of one of those things, is what we talked about, from personal to global. If you practiced worst case scenarios, even though it's not a fun thing to think about, when bad things happen, you at least have some semblance of what may happen. That's why police tend to respond well. That's why firemen respond well. Flight lines respond well, because they're always practicing what might happen. And in our worlds, that's our bottom line. In our worlds, we get so complacent that someone else is going to take care of it. Someone else has got that. Yeah, when it happens, they're going to tell us what to do. Well, the pandemic was...
Well, I would agree with that.
Yeah, but the perfect example was the pandemic happened and no one said anything. And then all of a sudden we heard, don't go outside. We don't know how it's spreading. Well, if they had said, if there's anything, if we, because they've been saying when we were kids, we were supposed to be going under desks if there's a bomb or,
so it's exactly what for the Cold War, in lining up down the hallways, sitting Indian style, hands of that, or crawling underneath the desk. It depended on what school I was going to at the time. But it worked also for tornadoes.
We don't prepare the kids for anything. The only thing we started preparing them for were active shooters. Right?
Right.
So now we'll have a plan on what happens when there's a really bad virus out. Well, for one thing, you shouldn't be coughing on people in the first place. 2, you shouldn't come to school or work if you're sick. 3, stop touching your face. 4, if there are body fluids coming out of you, stop touching things that other people touch. It was common sense, but because we got so lackadaisical on it, when it happened, no one was ready to respond for it. Honestly, if we were all washing our hands after we came out of the bathroom, it really wouldn't have been a big deal. But people aren't. It's simple things like that started this spreading so fast, it's not even funny. We didn't teach our kids, and then the adults forgot. And we all relied on someone else taking care of it. It all starts with us. Personal responsibility. I know I like SWATs. Strength.
No, that's not what I'm laughing at. I'm waiting on you to jump down off your high horse.
Oh. I told you need to take the lead today. I'm not feeling very well.
But your point is good. Your point is really good. There's some things that we learned as kids that we do not rely on, and we don't look back on and have learned from them and try to treat it, to teach our kids what we knew that would be reliable and everything else. And, it's like coughing with your mouth open and nothing over your face. That was just general politeness we were taught as kids. Well, if you don't teach your kid that, or you let them get away with it, that is going to spread something. It might not be COVID, but it's going to spread something somewhere. Okay. So if we go back to some of those just general basics in life, or general courtesies, coughing, turning your head away from somebody. You don't want to cough in somebody's food. Why do you think they put sneeze guards on buffets? Come on. They're there for a reason.
Well, this whole conference we talked about, when we were talking about things, even when we got to like the oil spill, one of the things we were talking about was when the oil spill happened, no one took responsibility. None of the companies or the organizations took personal responsibility. They said, you guys did it. You spilled the oil. Look what it's doing to us. Look what it's doing to us. Instead of taking what was theirs and fixing it on their end to help the other company. No, they were too busy doing that. And it's like,
we're always pointing finger. It's
Yeah.
just every day. I mean, just talk to those people that are, you know, we're talking about retail managers. Look at the managers. There's people that are complaining about certain things that you just cannot describe, or you cannot predict what they're complaining about. I was talking to somebody a couple weeks ago about what's going on in the hotel industry.
oh dear.
The people that are wanting special provisions because we're in COVID. They want special deals. Well, you know what? Money's not coming in. So the hotels are under pressure to make money, but they're also under pressure to please the client. And then I heard another one the other day too. I think I don't remember who it was. Somebody said the customer's not always right these days.
Oh yeah. I think
that really has
one of our kids
changed.
said that.
So, but under pressure is always constantly doing it. And it seems to be now that in public that it's changing, and it's constant pressure because you never know what, and you can call it cancel culture. You can call it just idiots. You can call it the increase of our population, which means we've got more idiots than we had 30 years ago. I don't know what you want to call it, but there's constant pressure these days. You can't even drive down the street without somebody flipping you the bird when you didn't even do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but so now you got to watch out because you don't know if they're going to ram you in the back end and steal your car. You don't know if you're going to stop at a stoplight and they're on their cell phone and texting. And the next thing you know, they run into the back of your car while you're sitting at a stoplight.
But what do all of these scenarios all come back into play for?
Pressure,
but it all comes back to the individual and how they react.
Yes. Yes.
So you think I'm Miss Know-It-All, Miss Dr. Maras, but hey, I had a whole bunch of experts and we all came down to the same conclusion. It starts with the first person. How do you react? How do you respond? Because when pressure comes to you, it's either you can knee-jerk react and freak out, or you can say, you know what, I think I have a basic plan for something kind of like that, and let me apply that.
You know, I'm watching the comments over here, and Nicholas just made an interesting one. He says responsibility. You know, and I am going to have to 100%. Well, let's say 95%.
Let's say Mike.
No, not that one.
He said,
"Oh, we need folks to have more personal responsibility." It's true. You know, I think part of our challenges are I'm going to show my age here, and some people are going to think I'm crazy.
We said over 40 or over 50 years of experience.
That was all on your side.
Yeah.
So, but you know, back in the 90s, in the 2000s, we taught our kids that everybody is a winner. Mm-hmm. If you got second place, third place, fourth place, you're a winner. Here's a trophy. And I still go back to the fact that is what has created a lot of problems within our society today, because everybody expects to be the winner when they're not. We have to have an idea of losing. We have to have an idea of responsibility. We have to have an idea that if I do this, this is going to happen. I mean, we're talking about pressure here, but we're also talking about the responsibility that comes with it, because Nicholas over there says something about pressure is good for diamonds. So yes, we can have good pressure, but we also have to understand what the rationale is behind it. If we do something, what are consequences? That's the word. What are our consequences? You know, so pressure is good. Pressure can be bad. It all depends. Again, it comes back to that word, I hate, is failure or regret. It's all in how you look at it.
Exactly.
And pressure can determine whether you're making a diamond or you're just going to stay cold.
Well, Brian, we can go on to my personal experience. Pressure. People look at me and say, "You have a brain injury?" Yes, I'm missing 4 areas of my brain. They don't work. And they can, "Ooh, that's terrible." That pressure could have kept me in a cocoon, hiding in the dark, never wanting to do anything. Next thing, hey, you've got breast cancer. Congratulations. You're going to die in 3 months. Pressure. I could have curled up in a bigger ball and went away. But what that pressure did was make me do, you know what? I can die. I can shrivel up. Or I can take this pressure, immense pressure on me, and do something good with it. So instead of a failure, instead of falling, I increased whatever was happening so that if I only did live 3 more months, I was living 3 very immaculate, wonderful 3 months. So it's really a choice. It goes back to the individual. Yes, I went back to the individual. But it's a choice that you could either stay a lump of coal or you can turn into a diamond. Every level of pressure you can change from, you can crumble in it or you can shine. Because I can assure you, when pressure happens, when crisis happens, that's when the leaders come up. The leaders who step outside of their comfort zone and do, you know what? I know this sucks, but let's do this.
Exactly. So at this point, we are at our mid-roll.
Yes, Mike.
Hopefully you learn from a failure. Exactly.
And then, of course, Nicholas says I'm a small ball because I'm small.
Oh,
thank you.
That's not right. But here in the middle of this, and I'm going to say thank you to ASquared Promotions.
Oops, one moment, please.
Yep. Let's get their thing up there.
I'm right there. Do you want me to do this one?
What's that?
Oh, no, you got it.
Oh, okay. We're going to say thank you to A2promos.com, A2 Promotions, who do all of those nice little, what do you call those things? Marketing objects and such? Swag. Okay. And then Ink 182, who can produce you a nice little t-shirt and get it all nice and pretty and all those other kind of things for you. And of course, Harmonized Brain Centers, who can put your brain on track.
They put mine back on track.
Yeah, they did.
And so let's play that, man. Can you imagine what they can do to a normal human?
No kidding. And before you hit that play button, just think, folks out there, this could be your commercial instead of ours.
Yes. Stand by. Thank you for joining us on the porch. We share the nuances and lessons we've garnered from throughout our combined 40 years of life experiences. Talk from the Porch is always serious, but full of laughter, and we're glad you're here with us. Like, share with a friend, and please subscribe to our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. And remember, join the conversation every Friday at noon Mountain Time. We'll see you on the porch. Thank you so much for joining us on Denim and Pearls. My name is Michelle Moroz, and this is Brian
Swanson.
We are business casual with pearls of wisdom from the porch, and we'd like to say thank you to what we already did.
We did all that.
We already did that. You're ahead of the game. Good.
Yeah, see how good I am? And you were worried about me.
No, I just can't hear. I've got a double ear infection. Okay.
Do you remember Fido?
I don't remember Fido.
I was going to say first in, dummies out, but I don't think that's what it stands for. But I remember Fido. So, Mike, go ahead, type it down and below what it means without bad words.
Here, Fido.
It's been a long time since I've seen that abbreviation, but I do know that I do know it. I just don't remember what it was. I know it
too, but I can't remember it. So, Mike, please help us out. What's Fido? We can't remember.
First in, dummies out. I'm totally sure.
It's something out, yeah.
So anyhow, we're back to that stage where I kind of get personal now because, as we've been going, I just realized we've kind of got a pattern going on for the last few shows since I've been here.
At the end, yeah.
Yeah, since I'm here in Indiana. You want to know the interesting thing that was really, really difficult today? We all know that my mom is not doing well. We also know she's in hospice. And I made some calls yesterday. And it was easy making the calls. I mean, she's already got everything arranged. She's got all the funeral arrangements. She's got all that stuff. But I called and I just kind of double checked to see what was going on. And they turned around. They told me, well, do you know what she's going to wear? What are you going to dress her in?
Oh, yeah.
And I went, you know what? I've got to ask Mom about that. And you know how hard, even though we had talked about this conversation before, you know what kind of pressure you're under and trying to formulate the words of, hey, Mom, so what do you want us to bury you in? It's not an easy concept. And so I was under that pressure yesterday going, wow, this is tough, but you know what? It's real. It has to be done. And so we had this conversation. She's like, oh, yeah. She says, I got this new suit that I just bought. I haven't had a chance to wear it. It's probably going to be too big on me, but they can fix that.
Well, I remember that conversation with my mother-in-law. And her suit she wanted was a bright red suit. She loved red. And to put it on her, they had to cut it. because they don't put the full clothes on. They cut it and they wrap it around their bodies. And I remember losing my mind because they cut her favorite suit. And I had to get through the pressure of realizing it doesn't matter. She's not going to get up. No one's going to see her behind when she gets up because she's not getting up, And so I'm even tearing up about it because it was really difficult to say, this is her favorite suit. Let's put her in it. And they had to cut it and form it around her body to fit it. So be prepared. That is not pleasant.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's the conversation. I mean, it was easier because we'd had this conversation, like a month ago, 2 months ago, whatever. But it's still, it's like I hung up the phone. So who were you talking to? The funeral home.
Yeah, they want to know what you're going to wear.
They want to know what to dress you in. And she had already mentioned the fact that she wants, a certain ring for this and different things like that.
Yes, Fido, Nicholas. What's Fido?
Yeah, hopefully
Mike hasn't answered us.
Yeah, Mikey didn't go away, I hope. But I don't remember what it is. I don't want to type it and find it. But yeah, so pressures are different as we go along, whether it's today or yesterday, whether it's our business or our life. I feel pressure every time I go out, because that I'm a Pokemon fan. So I play Pokemon. It's what keeps me in what?
Forget it. Drive on.
Forget it. Okay. Oh, no. Yeah, that's what it means.
Yeah. I was nice. I was being nice.
Yeah, you did well. But that's true. Yeah. Forget it. Forget about it and just drive on. Move on. Take the situation, and if you can throw it away and forget about it, move on. I think we mentioned this quite a few episodes where we were talking about the fact that, does it matter today? Does it matter right now? Does it matter today? Does it matter tomorrow? Is it going to matter next week? Is it matter going to matter? Who cares? Press on. If it's not going to matter, don't worry about it. And in military speak, drive on to the next thing. There's always going to be a next thing. There's always going to be another hit. I mean, if we go into the military terms, there's always going to be another airplane to fly. There's going to always be another hole to get, to dig. There's always going to be another something. I just, you want to talk about pressure. This reminded me of something because I reminded myself of this. Misawa, Japan, about 1991, I think it was, maybe. They were building a brand new hospital. They were digging it up. They were 35 feet in the ground with about a 200 and some odd feet across hole. Okay. They were going to build a hospital, so they had to dig down. And what did they find?
A bomb.
2 of them, side by side, 2 1,000-pound bombs sitting side by side in the dirt for history. You want to talk about under pressure. What do you do when you got the backhoe and you go, dink? Things have a tendency to tighten up at that point.
EOD.
So yeah,
truck. I would just jump out of the truck, out of the back hoe, and just run. The size of those things, you couldn't run.
Oh no, it wouldn't have mattered anyway.
Yeah,
but they were safe by EOD. They had come in and they had taken them and made them so that they wouldn't blow up and all those other kind of things. So that's their job. That's a whole nother job of pressure.
If you all don't know what EOD stands for, it's Explosive Ordnance Disposal. It's a group in the military that disarms bombs and things that go boom.
Yes. Big things sometimes. Yeah. But the history behind it, I'll give the history of why those bombs were there. During World War II, when the Allies were coming across or whatever, and whoever was bombing that particular base turned around and they were dropping bombs, and they suspect that the plane was too low for the bombs to go off before they hit the ground, because they should have been done exploded from elevation, and they think they came in under the clouds, and there was a whole track of them going all the way up to the flight line, because whoever dropped them just kind of dropped them and boop 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 boop. So they did it. They dug them up. They got them, made inert, and they built the hospital over the top of it. So anyhow, yes, I'm reading some of the comments over there. I don't know what else is going on your side.
I'm just putting in what FIDO stands for.
Yes, for sure. So
under pressure, Pressure comes in all sorts, shapes, and sizes. It can be little, it can be big. But the bottom line is, it's how do you deal with it? If they're little things, you've got to figure out how you can move past it. If they're bigger, you need to have, Brian loves it when I say it, you need to have a SWOT for your business plans, because you need to know your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities and threats, and you need to have a plan on what to do if something negative happens, if a pressure happens, if some sort of a crisis happens. It'd either be a fire, what do you call it? Evacuation plan. If someone comes in with COVID and sneezes on all your products, what are you going to do? If you're a restaurant and your entire shipment of onions doesn't come in, and that's your main thing in all your foods you make, you have to have a plan on what you're going to do if.
Okay, I think everybody's got that, but I'm sure there's somebody out there that's got the question that I have right now.
What?
What if you can't plan for it? What if it just comes along? It comes out of the blue and you have no access plan.
You mean like COVID?
Well, kind of. I mean, we can talk about all the things that, when it comes to COVID, we can talk like we did earlier about sneezing and covering your mouth and covering your throat and all that kind of stuff. But I'm just talking about.
This is what we talked about in the whole conference, was that you can't plan for everything. Okay. But if you can dream it, plan for it. Okay. Now, if it's something so off kilter that there was no way anyone could have watched or figured it out, then all those other plans together, just the basic system that you put together for the other disasters, will be the first several steps you'll need to address that new unknown.
So at that point, doesn't that become my excuse?
No.
I couldn't have planned for that. That's why it failed, because there's no way I could have ever predicted that.
No.
That sounds to me like a way that I can use for an excuse, or that some people would use as an excuse.
Some people could, but what it is,
I did everything I could in my power to solve this problem, but it's not my fault that somebody turned me in for serving alcohol to a minor.
No, there are things in place for that. But what I'm saying is, like, if you have a plan for whatever disaster, if it's something so obscure like a meteor flies out of the sky and hits your building, okay, all the first 5 steps of getting people out, doing this, making sure the gas line's off, all those kind of other things can still be used to at least make it not as bad. Because for something to be so out of kilter that there's no way you could have possibly prevented it, an airplane like that airplane in Denver started dropping pieces off of it. Okay.
Did you see that guy's truck, by the way?
But that's it. There's no way you can plan for it. So when you go to the insurance company, say, I parked in my parking structure where I always park. There's no trees around. I did have a cover on it because it's not hail season, and an airplane piece fell on it. That is an act of God. There's nothing you can do about it. But if it was anything else that you could have, okay, I didn't park my car in the middle of the street. Good, because you shouldn't.
I'm thinking of this really stupid little concept, that the old joke of, yes, officer, they stole my whatever out of the car, but my doors were locked. The insurance company is going to be fine because my doors were locked. Excuse me, why was the top down?
Exactly. I'm about to say, or your windows were down.
But the doors were locked.
But you've got to think about every possible, and that's why SWOTs are so important, because when you do a SWOT, you get a team together and other people look at your situation from different points of views and say, well, what about this? Well, I'm talking wild screen. They need people like you in the room, because you say, I don't know, what if, and you would think of something so out of the box. You need people that don't think like you in that room when you make your SWOT, because you need to think of the opportunities and threats that you can't see because you're too close to it.
Right. Well, I that brings me up to when we were planning Galaxy Fest and different events. Okay, we'll just say all kinds of events and stuff. And I talked about this like way back in one of our other episodes. I always have this tendency that when I have a tendency to do a mental walkthrough.
Hmm? Mental walkthrough. You were frozen again. So You do a mental walkthrough so you can see the room, where everything's going to be, all that kind of thing before it ever happens. Is that true? I hope it's true because I'm speaking for you at this moment because you're frozen.
Uh-oh. Am I back now?
Yes. So you do a mental walkthrough. You see everything where it's supposed to be.
Yes. I look and see what if I was the guest? What am I going to see at the admin table up front? The person who takes my name and makes sure I'm on the list or what have you. What kind of tools is that person who's accepting the names going to have? They got to have a checklist. They got to have a pen. They got to have this. They got to have that. And I do a mental walkthrough of everything. So you could call it a SWAT.
It is.
Okay. But I call it a walkthrough in this case, because what's it gonna look like? What's the stage gonna look like? Is that in position? Is that in position? Is the sound okay? What are all of these things before we make a final decision to open the doors? Because there's always that one little thing we forget, and it creates even more pressure while the event's going on.
Well, and that's why when we do conferences, you've got extra boxes of extra cords, extra mics, extra everything, duct tape, you name it. There are so many things you've got to plan for just in case. That is a walking, living SWAT.
Yes. And it's day for a day. But do we SWAT everything like flies?
We should. We really should. So we are at 46 minutes, so we should be wrapping up our talk today. But if you have listened and you shared this and you're like, what the heck? They didn't talk about this kind of pressure. Write us and say, hey, talk about this kind of pressure, because I'd like to know more about that. Because like I said, the internet gods were not being very nice to us today.
I might actually end up having to download this and edit it so that it's not so bad. We'll see.
We'll see. So thank you so much for watching Denim and Pearls. And we'd like to say thank you to our sponsors, ASquared Promotions. You can find them at A2 Promotions, A2promos.com. We can also thank our Inc. 182 sponsor, if you ever want any shirts, Inc182.com. Yes, it's like Blink, but take off the BL. That's how I remember it. And then Harmonized Brain Centers, they will help you have a better brain, because better brains help for better sleep, better production, better everything. HarmonizedBrainCenters.com. So if you are interested in being a sponsor with Denim and Pearls, please go to and write denimandpearlspodcast@gmail.com and say, hey, I want to know more about your sponsor package, because we are still looking for someone to take that middle commercial.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you, Nicholas, for putting our YouTube channel up in there. We are looking for only 20 more followers on YouTube so we can change the name to Denim and Pearls. So get your friends, get your family, go to your other computer and sign in again onto YouTube and do it again, because we need help. We're so
multiple emails. Yes,
multiple emails. Just do that. Anything else, Brian?
I think we're good on that. Do you have before you do it, do you have our outro?
I do.
This
time I'll stop pushing the wrong buttons, because I keep doing that. So my name is Michelle Ross, and you are?
Brian Swanson.
We are Denim and Pearls, and we are business casual with
Pearls of Wisdom
from the proverbial porch. Thank you so much for joining us, and please like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell on YouTube and Facebook.
And join us on Clubhouse here in just a few minutes.
Oh, yes. So we're going to Clubhouse, and if you need an
invitation,
just let us know, because I think I have at least 3 now. So have a wonderful day, everyone. Oh, goodness. Hello. Have a great one, everyone. And we'll hopefully see you on Clubhouse. And if not, we'll see you Friday next week.
And you must own an iPhone.
What?
Must own an iPhone to go on Clubhouse.
I think they all know that by now.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't say that then.
If not, we'll see you Friday at noon. Friday at noon here, or on Clubhouse in about 10 minutes. Have a great day, everyone, and peace.
Peace.